Welcome to Coaching in Session,
where limits end and growth begins.
Hosted by Michael Rearden.
This is your space to challenge the ordinary,
unlock your potential,
and step boldly into your next chapter.
Your mindset journey continues.
We are about halfway through the year of 2026 by the time this episode is being released. And you have to ask yourself, well, where did the year go? You might look back at your year and say, wow, I have had a crazy year, being bad, or maybe a crazy year it being great and fantastic. And maybe you have an assumption for what's going to come next. Of course, we would like for it to be good and for things to change, but we can also have that pessimistic type of idea of what the year is going to be. Maybe because we've been lucky and now we have to get unlucky because that's how the flow of the world is. We gave 50 this, 50 that. Or maybe since we had a really bad start, we might say we'll have a very bad start at the end or a bad finish at the end. Or we can say that maybe we had a bad start and now we're going to have a good ending. So regardless of where we are, we have to ask ourselves, well, if there's still about 6 months left for us to do something with ourselves and our life this year in 2026, how can we get the energy for that? How can we create the momentum? Well, this is all to say that we don't have to look too far because we're going to be talking about that today in my most recent blog, Mid-Year Momentum, How to Stay Unstoppable When Motivation Fades. Now, if you are familiar with what we do here at Reven Concepts and what we do here in Coaching in Session, this is about mindset. This is about personal development. This is about your growth and seeing the results that you would like to see sooner rather than later. Now, we understand that we can motivate ourselves to do something for a period of time. We can motivate ourselves to go to the gym. We can motivate ourselves to reach out to more people, to make more calls, to apply to more jobs. We can motivate ourselves to do many different things. But what happens when the motivation runs dry? When today is the day we say, well, not today. I don't feel like it exactly. I want something different for myself. And yeah, sure. We understand that this can be the reality for a lot of people, but it doesn't have to be the reality for everybody. And the people who listen to the podcast are not just anybody, right? They're a person who is hungry for some change. They're hungry for something else to happen this year. They're not just, oh man, I'm going to just wait for the year to be over so I can start my New Year's resolution. The New Year's resolutions don't start as a specific date for us. They start whenever we choose to put attention to what we want. So momentum is the attention aspect. In the article, we talk about how the mid-year blues can get us to do things that we would typically not do and typically just hang out and be on our phones and to scroll endlessly and to watch all of these movies that don't mean anything, especially really bad movies. And you're like, well, I watched one bad movie. Let me watch another bad movie to make up for the bad movie that I saw. And I mean, by the time you realize that you have wasted so much time trying to be entertained and you're not entertained. Okay. Like, what was it? The movie, Are You Entertained? Are You Entertained? I think it was Gladiator, where they're basically saying to the people, are you happy that this is happening in front of you? And sure, yeah, they're cheering, they're shouting, but you know what's happening? They're forgetting about all of their problems. Most of those people there, they're living paycheck to paycheck. They're struggling. They might not like their job. They might not like their marriage. They don't like their situation. So they're looking for a distraction. And you know what happens in that arena where a gladiator falls? They're like, whoa, at least it's not me. My life must not be so bad. So the distractions are there. And this is what happens toward the mid-year. We get ready for summer break. If you have children, or you're a parent, and you have your kids getting off of school, now you're like, well, I'm going to go on my 2-week vacation and I'm going to take it easy. I don't want to do too much in the summer, right? If you live somewhere very hot like Texas, you might say, I'm just going to stay inside. I don't want to go outside too much because it's 100 and something degrees and I just want to be comfortable. Well, comfort is going to be the key issue when it comes to the mid-year blues, or the mid-year boost is what we're looking for, right? We need a momentum to build us. And the best way for us to build momentum is to start something. When you start something, I don't want you just to start something because I'm telling you to start something. I want you to start something that you have been wanting to start. Maybe you wanted to start a new business. Now's the time. Maybe you wanted to purchase a home or build a home. Now could be the time, right? Like, don't just limit yourself. Now can be the time. Now I understand. The world is in full mayhem, right? We got war. We got all these problems. You can't get on planes or whatever. It's all this TSA issues, shutdowns, and yeah, all of that's the thing in the past. But we have to understand that things are going to change, whether they be for the good or the bad, the benefit of us or not the benefit of us. Think of if you are a day trader and you short a stock. Guess what? The company loses, but you win. So there's winners and losers. And yeah, sure, I can be very negative right now. And I think I'm going to be a little bit negative. You could be a loser in life if you want to be, or you could be a winner. Most people, they want to be winners, but they don't do the things that winners will do. They won't go on the races. They won't take the steps. They won't prepare. They won't study. They just sit in front of the test and they wonder why they're not passing. All of this is to say that we need to fully prepare ourselves, our brain, our mind, in order to do the things that we need to do. Now, we understand, like I said, there's a natural flow to our energy, right? You can be super energetic and then you kind of go downhill and you're like, whoa, this is not good. And then you're up here, you're good again. You're like, whoa, this is not good, right? And you have to understand that there's a powerful shift in that dynamic and that momentum, where when you're really high up and you know you're coming down, that momentum you can utilize to really push some of the hard things that you've been pushing off. So if you want to start a business, you want to start something big, you can say, when I have the most energy to do something, let me do that. Versus, oh, let me catch up on all the things that I meant to catch up on. Okay, well, what are the things you need to catch up on? Well, I need to organize my office. I need to do my taxes, which are important. Yes, I understand. But you need to do some big things. I'm talking about some life-changing things. This is not just, hey, do your to-do list, people. Let's get that done. I'm talking about do your life list. What's going to change your life, right? This right here is big. Now, this structure that you have to begin to implement here is not going to be one where it's going to be, all right, I do this, I do that. I'm going to be on track for the rest of the year. It doesn't work that way. Unfortunately, I wish it would, because it would just make everyone's life a lot easier, right? It'll make my life a lot easier, make your life a lot easier. More people will be successful. More people will be happy. More people will be invigorated to do more things for the summer and the rest of the year. Well, most people, especially me when I was a kid, I was using summer as an opportunity to recuperate. Man, I've been getting beat up left and right. I don't have time for this. I'm trying to make time for myself. And you're just using the time to recuperate. Well, I think of what recuperate means. Typically, when you recuperate, you want to get back to an original version of yourself. And typically that version of yourself was highly capable. So if you think of a person who maybe had a stroke and they want to recuperate or they want to recover to their former self, they don't want to just say, I want to be able to struggle up the stairs like I was struggling before. They want to say, or their mind says, I want to be able to walk up the stairs like I did before. Even though there might have been some struggle there, their mind is saying, I want to do what I can't do right now that I could used to do, right? Something that I was able to do before. Well, what's changing, right? What changed? The fact that you can't do it, or the fact that something happened to you that is stopping you from doing it, or that enabled you to take a step back? I mean, there's many different paths that we can treat it as, or the mindset, right? But what I can tell you is that in the beginning, it's going to be extremely challenging, because what happened on that hill, when you had that momentum and you're going down, and then you had that stroke or you had that fall and you got hurt, now you're on the bottom and you have no momentum to get up this hill, to get that next momentum that you need. And this is where the problems lie. Many people are literally on that bottom and their roller coaster is not moving because they have no momentum to get them up to that next slope. Well, what do we need to do? This is the $1 million question. Because if we can take every single day and we do one thing that can make us better, where will we be on that slope? Will we be at the top? Will we be halfway? Will we be close, damn near the bottom still? If we're still close, damn near the bottom, then yeah, sure, we can say that we can do just one thing a day, but maybe we have to do a little bit more than one thing a day, right? Maybe we got to do a bunch of things a day, okay? So depending on where you're going to be in a couple of weeks, months, whatever you want to label it as, you need to say how much you need to do, right? So we need to get clear on the actions that we have to take in order for us to get to the next spot of momentum. If we're really low, we need to figure out how to get to the next high spot. Okay. And I'm not talking about drugs and doing drugs for kids. Okay. I'm talking about doing the right thing, right? Natural momentum to propel you to personal development, right? To where you would like to be. Once you figure those actions out, you need to give yourself some level of commitment, right? Anyone can say they want to do something. Most people who started their New Year's resolutions in 2025 and the beginning of 2026, they don't do them anymore, right? Probably close to 85, 90% of people probably fell off from their New Year's resolution. So there's about 15 people who are on track for greatness and everyone else just kind of fell to the waysides. What happened, right? Did they not have a plan? Did they not have coaching with Reven concepts? Like, what was it that truly stopped them from getting to where they needed to be? Did they have good momentum and they started to slow down? Did they get busy and I'm so busy with everything and I'm trying to do this and I'm trying to do that? And I get it. I'm busy. Okay. But I make time for the things that are important. I make time for the things that are going to propel me forward. So we need to get real clear and get real mean with ourselves and saying, hey, if I'm not showing up, what are going to be the consequences? Are you going to have any consequences? Or are you just going to say, I didn't show up today, it's okay? Okay, no, it's not okay. It can't be okay. It can't be okay to be average anymore, okay? Now we're getting to the real conversation, right? The blog, here it is. The link's right down below. You can check it out. Now we're getting into the real conversation because when the mid-year momentum conversation comes up, I don't want you to just to simply say, I'm just not motivated today. I don't feel like it today. Now we need to get real with ourselves because I'm going to get real with you. As you know, I'm not a sugary coach. I don't sugar things and I don't say, oh, everyone, you're going to be so happy if you do this. And I'm so excited for you. And I believe in you. Yeah, sure. It can be helpful, right? To have someone who says that to you. But you know what's even more helpful? When someone is demanding greatness from you. Crazy, right? Mind blown. They demand greatness. Do you demand greatness from yourself? I'm asking you, do you demand greatness from yourself? Because if you did, it wouldn't matter if you were on the bottom of that roller coaster with no momentum or if you were on the top getting ready for the next momentum push. You would demand for something to happen in your favor. Now, this is not to say that everything will happen in your favor. This is not to say that you're not going to have hiccups. You're not going to have hurdles. You're not going to have moments of doubt and insecurity. This is not to say that things are going to be smooth. This is not to say that things are going to be perfect. It's just to say that you have a desire for something and you're going for it. I demand for this to happen. I'll tell you a funny story. I've been doing a lot of traveling because my beginning of the year has not been how I would have liked. There was a lot of troubles. There was a lot of things that would make anyone stop in their tracks. There's a lot of things that many people will wish would never have happened to them, right? And they happened to me. They happened to my family. And as much as I would like to say, my year has been so crappy, I just want to take the rest of the year to recuperate and take it easy and to reflect. I just can't. I can't. I demand too much from myself. And I just think of the people who get into the idea of how one small thing can truly like derail them, right? I get a lot of no's, not from women or anything because I'm married, but I'm sure if I wasn't married and I ask girls on dates, maybe I'll get a no here and there, right? It's just the rule of numbers where not everyone's going to like you, right? You're not going to get every job. You're not going to get every opportunity. You're not going to get every contract. You're going to get a lot of no's, okay? Even with the podcast, I get a lot of no's for the podcast, whether it to be a guest or for the podcast to go viral or whatever it be, right? Not every episode is going to be exactly it, but not saying that there's not an it in the episode. There's not that it factor that can't change someone's trajectory or change the level of someone's motivation or momentum, right? This is not to say that that's not there. This is to say that we might have a plan for something, or maybe we don't have a plan, right? Maybe no plan at all. So if we're planning to fail, then it happens. And if it happens, we're not too upset because we didn't have no plan at all in the first place. Well, we have to have some level of direction. What do you want to have, happen at the end of the year? What do you want to let be there when all is said and done for 2026? Do you want to just look at the rubble and the wastelands of what 2026 was and all of the issues that you've had to deal with? Or do you want something different? Do you want to say that 2026 was the year that everything changed? And even for myself, I have many opportunities to say, let me kick it back. Let me take it easy. Let me just go on cruise control. But I'm telling you, something happened within me. It's a fire. It's like, I don't know what it was, but it came out and it was hungrier than ever. It was for example, the old me would go to the buffet and just get my favorite things. And this new momentum push is like, I want everything. I don't even like everything, but I want it, right? I don't know if it's the competitive nature or it's this winning mentality. I don't know what it is. But what I can tell you is that there's a push happening. This momentum is there. I don't think it's going to stop because it's literally egging me on the same way it was egging me on in 2018 when I started the business. And I didn't know what was going to happen. And then from there, I didn't slow down for 2.5 years or something along those lines. This was literally nonstop. It was just like, let's go, let's go, let's go. It's like someone was yelling at me to keep on going. And it feels like that is happening right now. Maybe it's just my subconscious saying, go, 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 don't stop. Maybe it could be my family subconsciously speaking to me, go, 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 don't stop. Someone has to do it. I'm expecting you to do it. So you better do it, right? It sounds crazy, right? Where if you know, let's say for Thanksgiving, right? I think this is a good analogy. On Thanksgiving, typically you will have a spread of food. You will have maybe green beans and some cornbread casserole. You would have some rice and some beans, and you might have a couple of other little things like desserts and stuff like that, right? But I didn't say the main course of the meal. Typically is a meat. It could be a turkey, a ham, a chicken. It's something, right? And let's say it's a turkey just for the turkey's sake of Thanksgiving, right? Gobble, gobble, gobble. Most people associate Thanksgiving or turkey with Thanksgiving. And let's say I'm the person who's supposed to be making the turkey this year. I'm not going to say, well, hey guys, I messed up. There's no turkey this year for Thanksgiving, okay? I know it was my responsibility to get the turkey going, but I just didn't do it. I wasn't motivated to wake up and to thaw the turkey and to prime the turkey and to baste the turkey and to put the turkey in the oven and stuff like that. Like, the conversation wasn't there, right? Most people who have to make the turkey. Now I understand that's in November, right? But that mindset can be happening in May. It could be happening in June. It could be happening in July. It can be happening in August. Okay. It can happen all the time where we have an obligation to someone or something. And the someone can be ourselves. It could be as simple as ourselves. We have an obligation to ourselves to be more, to be better, to be more hungry, right? We want everything. We don't want just a turkey. We want all the fixings as well. Whoa. Now we're getting somewhere, right? Now we're getting into the mindset of what this momentum is going to be and how to be unstoppable. Because the word unstoppable is the key factor here. Anyone can start something. Anyone can say that I want something better for myself. Let me do it. Let me slow roll. I'm doing something, so you shouldn't feel bad or you shouldn't critique me because I am doing as much as I can. Are you? I don't know. But what I will say is, if you got the right coach, they will always find more. I can't tell you how many coaches I have had in my life, whether it be from sports to mindset to life, business, whatever. They would always find an area where I could be better. And that's what we need. Right now, we need to figure out how we can be better, how we can be unstoppable. What would give us the edge? What is that? Okay. Write a couple of things down, right? You don't need me to do that. But of course, if you need help, right? RevenConcepts.com. Learn more about how we can help you get the motivation, how we can help you get the momentum needed, how we can give you the boost, right? Maybe you have a dead battery in your car and you need a jump start. Maybe we can be that jump start, right? It can be all these ideas for the new year. But what I will say is that in this article here, Mid-Year Momentum, How to Stay Unstoppable When Motivation Fades, they talk about many different things we haven't talked about in podcasts today. And it's for good reason. I want you to read this article. I want you to go to the website, the link's right down below, just to learn about momentum, to learn about your idea of motivation, to learn about this softer self to the conversation. Because it could be difficult when someone is yelling at you to get up, to do this, when on your mind that you don't have to get up, that you can just take it easy. And there's not going to be many consequences that are going to happen immediately. The consequences are going to happen long term. You're going to have health issues. You're going to have financial issues. You're going to have relationship issues, all because you chose not to act. But yet today is the day, is an opportunity for you to take action, for you to realize that there is so much action that you can take, whether you know it or not. Some people don't know the first step. And that's what we do here at Reven Concepts. We help people with the first step. We help people understand that if we can figure out what we need to do next, we can stop you from a lot of the pitfalls and the shortcomings. You are going to be more primed to do the things that are going to make you feel good more than the things that are not going to make you feel good. Do more of the things that are going to help you level up than the things that are going to downgrade you. Okay? Imagine if you knew all of the booby traps in life and you say, oh, booby trap there, let me go around it. Where would you be from there? Because you wouldn't have to spend so much time climbing your way out of every hole you fall into. Maybe right now it's not so much about the motivation. Maybe right now it's not so much about where we are in the year. Maybe it's all about who you are as a person right now and who you want to become. Because it doesn't matter if it's January 1st or if it's June 1st. You should be hungry. You should be demanding more from yourself right now than you've ever demanded before. And when you can do this, you're going to start to develop the habit of doing this. It's not going to be just, oh, I was in mid-year, I need a boost. It's in the evening, I need an energy drink. You don't need energy because you already have it. You don't need motivation because you already have it. You don't need a push because you're already running. You're already flying. So there's a lot to be said here. Links down below for the article. If you're finding yourself within the next, let's say 7 days, 7 to 14 days, I'm going to give you 7 to 14 days. If you have not made any changes from this episode, reach out to us, get a consultation. It doesn't hurt. All right. Figure out what is stopping you, right? The consultations, I can't tell you how many times that was enough to get someone to go, right? To start the boost, right? Of course, there's going to be people who need accountability, people who need skin in the game. And skin in the game it's worth its weight in gold. All right. I know when I need to do something in my life, whether it be fitness, relationships, career, if I don't get skin in the game, there's not going to be much progress. Yes, there will be some, of course, but I'm talking about I want big changes. Okay. I want to look at something and say, wow, that's very different than what it was. I want that to be your life. I want you to look at your life right now and say, whoa, this is my life. And then I want you to look at your life in 6 months from now in 2027 in January and says, wow, this is my life. It's a different mindset. It's a different conversation. Even though you're saying the same words, the meaning means so much more. So you can mean so much more right now. You can mean so much more today. So figure out the means to get it, to get what you want, to get what you deserve, to get what is yours, whatever mindset or idea you want to give your consciousness. This is just to say that there's still work to do this year. So put on your working boots. If you need some new ones, head over to DSW or something. They don't sponsor me, but head over to some place that has shoes. Get yourself a pair, lace them up, and then start to dig in.